Finally, after 4 years, we're building a greenhouse. It's attached to our house and we're using refurbished sliding glass doors. I'm going to show you how we're putting it together next in this video. So we bought these sliding glass doors off of Craigslist that someone was selling them. I think we paid like $200, maybe $250 for it's like 11 basically panels of glass. The main issue that I have here is all the panels of glass were different. This one I took the frame off to see if I could use it. That wasn't a good idea because I found out that when I take this frame off, because the glass is old, these glass panels will separate, and then all of a sudden you'll lose your seal inside these panels. And then over here you can see I got one sliding glass door where I have this existing frame that's on here, and if I try to remove, I can't remove that existing frame, so I got to kind of build around it, which is a major pain in the ass to do. And then this window here is a whole different configuration because it's a little bit taller, little different size, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to trim around it. So over here you can see what my finished trim will end up being, as I'm going to use pressure treated for my trim because it's going to get a lot of weather on the side, and of course we're here in the Pacific Northwest, so it's going to be wet a lot of the time. But on this here I'm butting up against the existing frame, and I think that'll look pretty well. Over here between these two panels, I'm gonna basically dado out the sides of the 2x6 and put on here to help cover that. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do across here because I got this height and then all of a sudden it drops down, and then I got this huge gap here, so I'll show you what that's gonna be later on. But right now that's my big concern, is how we're going to do that. Over on this side I started framing it out. I got the top T111 up, which matches our house T111. We'll probably end up painting that top portion red, as well as that little extension. I'm using pressure treated to frame in the windows here. And I'll do the same thing for something across the bottom here. And for the roof, two 4x8 sliding glass doors laying on their side, going across the whole width, and then the upper section I don't have enough windows, so I'm just putting kind of a regular roof on there. I've had tar paper up. I use this drip edge here, so that the water off the roof will then drip down on top of the glass and then run down. Down here, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here yet, but as the water runs down, I'm going to have a little bead of water that's going to valley up here, and then it runs down. What I don't want it to do is to run down and then drip down in between my end joist here, and water to pour down into there. So I have to do some kind of flashing to somehow bond it up to here, which is going to be kind of tough. I do have this little lip right here, and I may be able to get a little piece of flashing that I can tuck underneath there and put silicone in this whole distance, and then have it overlap here. I'm still not sure exactly how I'm going to finish this whole face out, so I'm going to hold off on doing anything here until I get this face done, so that my flashing can come down and over that. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not quite sure what needs to happen, but yeah, that should allow, you know, quite a bit of light in. One thing that I didn't realize until after I was done and things are a little off is my, I don't know if you can see in this video here, but this end joist curves, comes in, curves, and then comes back out, and that kind of messed me up a little bit on laying my panels in, but I'm kind of dealing with that as I go. So that's where we're at, I think, right now. We'll go over here on this other side is where the door is going to be. And we have a storm door on this side, and this window slides up and down. This is what the other side looked like before I framed it in. So today I'm going to frame this out, put the T111 across here, and hopefully get this completely enclosed in today. Got the same issue here with the different size glass. This is the painted glass that separated on me. So if I were to take these boards down, this top piece of glass is not really attached to anything. It's just kind of sandwiched in between here. So eventually, you know, I'll keep looking on Craigslist. This is a 36-inch piece of glass here, and maybe I'll end up replacing that as soon as I can. What's nice about these panes of glass, and what I'm trying to do is, if I need to replace one, I just take the trim off the front here and pull it off. So that's where we're at right now. I'm not going to make this a long video, so this is kind of the brief summary of where I'm at right now. And I'll get further along and show you where I'm at that point. Alright, so I got 99% of the outside of the greenhouse done. Trimmed it with pressure treated wood. I had a lot of issues using this mishmash of sliding glass doors, because some had frames on them, some I couldn't take the frames off, and you can see on this side, you know, these were the actual sliding door portion, and they worked perfectly because they didn't have frames on them for me to get in the way. So I was able to kind of wrap them with pressure treated for trim. But on the front side, this one here, this glass was just a painted glass with no trim. This one had the door trim on the bottom, so I had a different width. And then this one over here actually had the frame attached to the non-moving side of the sliding glass door. So, you know, what I'm going to do at the bottom of these, I'm not sure. I got 3 different styles going on, I just don't quite know what I'm going to do on the bottom there to make it all tie in. The other issue that I have is because of the existing frame, I had this piece here that I couldn't remove. So obviously we'll end up painting this like brown or something, because I like the wood color, so we'll probably end up staining the pressure treated to help protect it a little bit more. But it's a hodgepodge of windows. But we got all of these windows for you know, I think it was like $200 or something like that. So all the wood that I spent for this this whole project, all in all, ended up costing about $1,000, including the windows. But it's about 14 foot wide by 8 foot deep greenhouse that should work really well for us. Start planting seeds in February, and we'll see how that goes. So I got to work on finishing the inside next. So on the inside, I could definitely already tell a difference in temperature, and of course I'm attached to the house over here, so the heat radiating off the house is going to help keep the inside of this pretty cool. I will put some insulation up there in the upper sections to help try and keep the heat from escaping, and I still have some trim to put in around the inside of these doors and windows to help secure those a little bit. My next step really here is this floor. This is where I think a majority of where I'm going to lose a lot of my heat is the cold coming in from the ground. So I'm going to level this out, put some sand in here, and I think put a couple sheets of that 2-inch foam that you can get at Home Depot, and then we'll cover that with something. I haven't decided yet what I want to cover it with. Julie wants to put flagstone in here, but I'm not sure how I'm going to put flagstone on top of foam. So I don't know. That's still up in the air of what we're going to do. But it's a greenhouse. It should hopefully work real well. So here's what the roof looks like. 2 panes of glass up here. Got the corrugated plastic on the back half because I didn't have enough panes to do the entire ceiling. It should work pretty well. I put some flashing up underneath here. It's got black felt underneath that to help protect the water. Get the water come off. I have some weather seal underneath here. 2 different types of flashing that then comes over, and then under here is another Z flashing that comes up and over, and there's paper behind all of this to try and help keep water from leaking inside. You know, and even if it does leak inside, it's a greenhouse, so I'm not really that concerned about it. Well, it's winter time, and I'm glad we got the greenhouse built before winter hit. We've already planted some seeds, and they are in the greenhouse, hopefully getting ready to sprout here in the next week or so. Let me show you what we've accomplished so far. So we've added a little bit more to the greenhouse here. It's about 50 degrees in here. It's about 38 degrees outside. We brought in our orange tree, and we have our lemon tree here. And I just planted some seeds. I added these shelves over here so that this is where we can work to plant seeds and repot plants. Lower shelf down here. I got some thinner upper shelves that are up top here. And I haven't finished the ceiling yet, but you can see here I put insulation in this upper section over here. I still need to cover that with a sheet of something that looks nice so that it doesn't look as bad. And we're in the process of getting flagstone, and we'll be putting flagstone in the whole area here. And that's working real well. We have down here at the floor underneath the sand is 2-inch foam insulation. So that's keeping the heat from or the cold air from the ground coming up into the greenhouse. So it's a real nice size. It's interesting, the other day when the sun came out, the high outside was 45 degrees, but it was 102 degrees inside with the sun beating down in here. So I have some vents that I'm putting in. There'll be automatic vents. One will go in that side right there, and the other one will go on the other side, so it'll be a cross ventilation, and I'll show you what those are all about once I get them. They're supposed to have arrived last week, but they haven't yet, so I'm gonna start cutting the openings today for them, and we'll get those installed. So far it's looking pretty good, pretty happy.